The air inside the gallery is a held breath. It's a space of sterile reverence, of quiet contemplation, where the shuffle of a shoe on polished concrete is an event. That silence is shattered. A deep, resonant bass line begins to pulse, not from a hidden speaker, but from the very walls, vibrating through the floor and into your bones. The hushed reverence of the white cube is abruptly, violently replaced by the tribal, percussive beat of a runway show. The stark gallery lights dim, replaced by a single, surgically precise spotlight that cuts through the manufactured dusk, and into its beam steps a figure. Before us, a sculptural haute couture garment commands the space, a wearable masterpiece that seems to defy gravity and convention in equal measure. This is not merely a dress, it is a moving architecture, a chrysalis of thought and form forged from materials that belong more to a sculptor's studio than a seamstress's workshop. Perhaps it is fashioned from thermoformed acrylic, catching the light in fractured crystalline shards. Or maybe it's a cascade of 3D printed mycelium, a biofuturist dream woven into a tangible, wearable reality. Its silhouette is a deliberate provocation, rejecting the familiar contours of the human form in favor of something more abstract, more challenging. It's a living canvas, a kinetic sculpture that breathes with the model's every step. This is the front line of a new cultural war, or perhaps a grand, unprecedented alliance. Here, the artisanal hand of the couturier, with its centuries of tradition, meets the disruptive code of the digital artist and the raw materiality of the sculptor. The industrial loom, a symbol of mass production, has been hacked to produce a singular, unrepeatable object of desire. This is the new temple of luxury, where brands once considered bastions of heritage and conservative elegance, the keepers of the flame of established taste, are now aggressively co-opting the language of the avant-garde. They are not just sponsoring exhibitions, they are staging them, becoming the curators, the patrons, and the primary exhibitors of a new kind of art. The lines are not just blurring, they are being systematically and beautifully erased. The flagship store becomes a gallery, the runway becomes a performance piece, the handbag becomes a limited edition print. This calculated fusion creates a powerful tension, a vibration in the cultural air that is impossible to ignore. We are forced to confront a cascade of questions that cut to the very heart of what we value in both art and commerce. Is this a genuine evolution of artistic patronage, a modern-day Medici family using its vast resources to foster a new renaissance of creativity, democratizing art by placing it directly onto the bodies and into the hands of the public? Is it a noble effort to break down the elitist walls of the art world, making aesthetic innovation a part of the lived daily experience? Or is this something more cynical, more calculated? Is this the ultimate commercial maneuver, a sophisticated act of cultural appropriation where the raw, authentic energy of the artist is harnessed, repackaged, and sold back to us at an astronomical markup? Is the artist's soul the new must-have luxury material for the season? What happens to the power of art when its primary function becomes to elevate the perceived value of a commodity? This is not a simple question of selling out. It is a profound inquiry into the very nature of value in the 21st century. The artists participating in these collaborations are often not struggling unknowns, but established figures like Jeff Koons, Yayoi Kusama, Takashi Murakami, and Daniel Arsham, artists who command immense respect and market power in their own right. Their participation lends an undeniable veneer of intellectual and creative credibility to the luxury brands. In return, the brands offer a platform of unimaginable scale, a global stage that dwarfs the reach of even the most prestigious museums. An artist's motif, once confined to a single canvas in a gallery in Chelsea, can now be seen on billboards in Tokyo, on the arms of celebrities in Paris, and in the hands of millions through the infinite scroll of social media. This is a Faustian bargain of breathtaking scale. the brand receives a transfusion of cultural capital, a narrative of cutting-edge innovation that distinguishes it from its competitors. The artist achieves a form of cultural ubiquity, their vision woven into the very fabric of global commerce. But in this dazzling exchange, what is gained and, precisely, is lost? Does the art retain its critical edge, its capacity to question and provoke, when it is so intimately entwined with the machinery of desire and consumption? Is this genuine artistic patronage, a bold new chapter in the history of creative collaboration? Or is this the most sophisticated and seductive commercial maneuver the world has ever seen? The artists participating in these collaborations are often not struggling unknowns, but established figures like Jeff Koons, Yayoi Kusama, Takashi Murakami, and Daniel Arsham, artists who command immense respect and market power in their own right. Their participation lends an undeniable veneer of intellectual and creative credibility to the luxury brands. In return, the brands offer a platform of unimaginable scale, a global stage that dwarfs the reach of even the most prestigious museums. An artist's motif, once confined to a single canvas in a gallery in Chelsea, can now be seen on billboards in Tokyo, on the arms of celebrities in Paris, and in the hands of millions through the infinite scroll of social media. This is a Faustian bargain of breathtaking scale. The brand receives a transfusion of cultural capital, a narrative of cutting-edge innovation that distinguishes it from its competitors. The artist achieves a form of cultural ubiquity, their vision woven into the very fabric of global commerce. But in this dazzling exchange, what is gained and, precisely, is lost? Does the art retain its critical edge, its capacity to question and provoke, when it is so intimately entwined with the machinery of desire and consumption? Is this genuine artistic patronage, a bold new chapter in the history of creative collaboration? Or is it the most sophisticated and seductive commercial maneuver the world has ever seen? Extending that provocative question, we must delve deeper into the intricate alchemy of these unions, where raw creativity is transmuted into commercial gold. It is not enough to simply observe the phenomenon. We must dissect the process, understand the mechanics of this powerful fusion. Consider the explosive, almost viral proliferation of the Kusama dots exploding across the iconic monogram canvas of Louis Vuitton's handbags. This was not a simple act of decoration. It was a collision of two universes of meaning. On one hand, the LV monogram, a symbol of heritage, European luxury, and carefully cultivated status. On the other, Yayoi Kusama's polka dots, born from a place of deep psychological trauma, of hallucinations, and a profound, lifelong artistic obsession with the concepts of infinity, obliteration, and self-annihilation. When these two visual languages merge, a fascinating chemical reaction occurs. The handbag is no longer just a handbag. It becomes a carrier of Kusama's entire narrative. The owner is not just buying leather and canvas, they are purchasing a piece of that artistic aura, a fragment of that obsessive, brilliant madness. The brand, in turn, performs a masterful act of absorption. It takes Kusama's complex, often dark psychological world and renders it safe, desirable, and photogenic. The abyss of infinity becomes a charming, Instagrammable pattern. This is the alchemy, the transformation of profound artistic inquiry into a covetable luxury good. This alchemical process is not limited to surface decoration. It extends into the very architecture of commerce itself. Take, for instance, the long-standing collaboration between Prada and the architectural firm OMA, led by the visionary Rem Koolhaas. Their epicenters in New York, Los Angeles, and Tokyo are not merely stores. They are radical experiments in the nature of retail, culture, and public space. The New York epicenter, with its giant, undulating wooden wave that can transform from a display for shoes into a stage for lectures, film screenings, and performances, fundamentally redefines what a retail environment can be. As detailed in the project's extensive publications and critical reviews in journals like And, Koolhaas's intention was not just to sell more clothes, but to create a site for cultural exchange, a laboratory for new kinds of social interaction. Here, the brand becomes a patron of architectural and social theory. Prada doesn't just collaborate with an artist, it commissions a living, breathing piece of conceptual art that its customers can walk through. The brand gains immense cultural capital, positioning itself not as a mere merchant of goods, but as a forward-thinking arbiter of culture. The artist, or in this case the architect, is given a monumental budget and a public platform to realize a vision that would be impossible within the traditional confines of museum or gallery commissions. Of course, as many critical analyses in publications like noted, this interplay is not entirely new. The ghost of Elsa Schiaparelli, collaborating with Salvador Dalí on the infamous lobster dress in 1937, looms large over these contemporary partnerships. But the context has shifted dramatically. Schiaparelli and Dalí's collaboration was a surrealist provocation, a playful jab at the bourgeoisie, born from a shared artistic sensibility within a relatively small avant-garde circle. Today's collaborations are meticulously planned, multi-million-dollar global marketing campaigns, executed with the precision of a military operation. They are announced at press conferences, amplified by influencers, and supported by a vast ecosystem of digital content. The scale and speed have escalated exponentially, transforming these luxury houses from occasional partners into de facto contemporary art patrons, arguably with more influence on public taste than many major museums. This shift raises a crucial question about the nature of this new patronage. The Medicis commissioned art to glorify God and their own power, but they were patrons to individual geniuses. Today's patronage flows from a multinational corporation with a board of directors, shareholders, and quarterly profit targets. What does it mean for the future of art when its primary patron is increasingly a publicly traded company with a legal fiduciary duty to maximize profit above all else? From that patronage paradox, we are forced to confront the persistent, haunting echo of authenticity. Imagine standing on a crowded, rain-slicked street in a global metropolis. The neon lights of the city blur into the polished glass of a luxury storefront. But inside, where you expect to see a lifeless mannequin draped in the latest collection, you instead find a conceptual art piece gracing a boutique window. Perhaps it's a delicate, kinetic sculpture by an artist like Tomás Saraceno, its iridescent webs shimmering under the store spotlights. Or maybe it's a stark, minimalist light installation by James Turrell, bathing the space in an ethereal, otherworldly glow. The piece is decontextualized, removed from the hushed sanctuary of the gallery, and placed directly in the chaotic, commercial flow of the city. The conversation immediately shifts. For the millions who will never set foot in a contemporary art museum, this might be their most direct, intimate encounter with the avant-garde. The boutique window becomes an accidental gallery, a portal to a different way of seeing. In this sense, the collaboration acts as a radical platform for engagement, democratizing access to aesthetic experiences that were once the exclusive domain of a cultural elite. This democratization extends from the monumental to the miniature. When an artist's signature, be it the cartoonish figures of Cause or the bold graffiti tags of Futura, becomes a limited edition print on a sneaker, the dynamic changes once more. The art becomes wearable, mobile, and personal. It's a way for an individual to signal their cultural literacy, to wear their taste on their feet. This isn't just about owning a product, it's about aligning oneself with the artist's identity, with the cultural movement they represent. Yet, this is where the echo of authenticity grows louder, more dissonant. Is the artist's message, which may have been born from critique, subversion, or street-level rebellion, being diluted and neutralized in this process? Does the act of placing it on a mass-produced consumer good strip it of its power, turning a potent symbol into a mere decorative motif? This tension is reflected directly in the secondary market. Sales records from auction houses like Christie's and Sotheby's reveal a fascinating trend. These collaborative pieces, from artist-designed skate decks to Virgil Abloh's off-white ex-Nike sneakers, often fetch prices that far exceed their original retail value, commanding sums once reserved for traditional art objects. They exist in a liminal space, treated as both fashion artifact and investment-grade art, fueling both critical acclaim for their cultural impact and sharp accusations of cynical commodification. Ultimately, this is about more than just sales figures or marketing strategies. It's a profound reflection of the evolving landscape of cultural value in our hyper-commodified, image-saturated world. We are witnessing a complex, symbiotic evolution, not a simple hostile takeover. The artistic avant-garde, with its inherent cool and its power to generate authentic cultural energy, is being systematically absorbed into the luxury machine. In return, that machine provides artists with unprecedented financial resources, technological capabilities, and a global platform that allows their work to permeate the culture in ways previously unimaginable. It is a feedback loop of immense power. Is this the final absorption of all counterculture into capital, the endpoint of a long historical process? Or is it the beginning of a new hybrid form of creativity, one that forges new territories where art transcends the white cube, breaks free from its institutional constraints, and adorns the fabric of everyday life? The answer is not simple, and perhaps it is not meant to be. The dialogue, much like the threads of these collaborations, remains beautifully, provocatively interwoven.